What's going on? It's been a few weeks. It's time for
Fire with Dad, baby.
and that might be the first ever successful Fire with Dad intro.
Cha-ching, baby.
It took us like I don't know,
45 years.
took us like I guess like 4 years.
It's 4 years we've been doing this.
4 years of Fire with Dad.
Fire with Dad, baby.
I mean, look how much taller I am than you. I just can't get over. I mean, I know I'm an imposing figure.
Well, if you stop wearing high heels.
So today we're talking about Vegas because last week we were in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas,
Stayed
baby.
at the Trump Hotel, the schwanky, fancy Trump Hotel.
Nice rooms.
Really nice rooms. And we went to David Scott Peters' event.
Fantastic individual. I spent 9 o'clock to 6:30, 2 days, and enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, the one night you were gone, I thought you were spooning with him.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about Vegas. I'm telling you what we had happen. I'm going to talk about some ironic stuff, but the funniest thing that happened was the one Uber ride.
Oh my God. I thought we were going to get kicked out.
So we're in this Uber ride, and where did he say he was from? Iran?
He was from Iraq.
Iraq. He's from Iraq. And so
And then Luis made the mistake of asking him the wrong question.
yeah, Luis asked him what religion he was because he's trying to have a conversation. Apparently, this guy didn't like that question. So we start off the wrong foot.
And what's it to you?
What's it to you, buddy? It's none of your business. I'm like,
What's it to you?
okay, sorry, bro. So then we get going, and you're up there. You're in the front. So Dad's the co-pilot on all the Ubers. Me, Peter, and Luis are in the back. This is a minivan with the captain seats. I'm in the very back. And we're about 6-7 minutes into this Uber ride, and we're in a 3-lane road, and he's in like the far left lane. Actually, I think it was 4-lane road, and he was in the 3rd lane.
Right.
And I see the building coming up that I thought was our building.
Well, it looked quite a bit like the building we were supposed to be at.
Look identical. You got some crap on your jacket. Jeez, would you roll around with a dog, bro?
No, I don't have a dog.
You got to take care of these kids. And so I look up, and I'm like, oh, I think that's our building. And he's in the 3rd lane, and you're up there yipping to him and chinging it left and right. And I'm like, hey, I think this is our building.
Slams on the brakes.
Guy slams the brakes on, middle of the road,
Stops.
35-0, looks back casually. He goes, do you want to get out here? And I'm like, I think that's our building. They're like, hold up. No, actually, it's not. My bad. So you're gonna let me do my job? I'm like,
His comment is, you are very unprofessional, as he turns around and looks at Matt big time.
You're very unprofessional. I'm a professional driver. I know how to do my job. Let me do my job. You are unprofessional, sir. And I'm like, Jesus, buddy.
And then he says, I'm looking at the GPS.
Yeah. And I said, well, I'd rather not die. Can you drive the car? I mean, we're literally
and then he takes him about 15 more seconds after that to get the car going.
And then as he's driving, he keeps glancing up at me in the mirror and just staring right through me.
Well, he was upset.
And I said, do we have a problem here? Like, do you just want to stop the ride now? And so he eventually doesn't say anything. While he's pulling into the parking lot, I mean, there's this thing called pedestrians that have a right of way, right?
Right.
So we got a minivan. We got this guy walking. Very obvious he's walking on the sidewalk and through the parking lot. And
damn near hits him.
almost hits him. And then that guy's like, what the hell? And he's like waving at him and like he was wrong. So like, yeah. Luis, I think, gave him a 0-star review because Luis, it was on Luis's Uber account. So the good news is, Dad,
we survived.
Well, we survived, but my Uber score is more intact. Like, because the drivers can score you. And I say some pretty crazy shit. Uber drivers, sometimes we always have a good time. I have a feeling this guy might have given me a 0 or 1 star. Instead, Luis probably got it.
So Luis probably can't go Uber anymore. He's got to go Lyft.
Luis is being bad. How did you know there was another one? Look at you dropping some
big time topics.
Why you get your mic face that way?
I'm sorry. The chick gets turned on its own.
So what else happened in Vegas?
Well, we went the first night. We went to one of your clients' place.
Oh, we went to Water Street,
and that was fantastic. Fantastic pizza. And
how about those meatballs?
And the meatballs. I mean, I swear to God, they were to die for.
You would die for his balls?
What, meatballs?
Oh, meatballs.
Hello.
Yeah, their food's awesome. Water Street Pizza. It's on the main drag in Henderson. Phenomenal. The pizza's great.
The meatballs were phenomenal.
Great. The meatball hoagie's great. We had something else that was jalapeno poppers were good. I think we had wings.
And we also had some wings. The wings were excellent too. The poppers were really good.
Now, what else happened at that dinner?
We also took our Uber driver and we asked him if he wanted to stay. We would take care of him, and we took care of him, and he stayed and had dinner with us. And it was a great time. We had put a picture on Facebook with the Uber driver. Nice guy.
Yeah, it was funny. We're driving there, and I said, hey, it's a 20, 25-minute drive from Vegas to up
Uberville.
There. What's it called?
Henderson, Vegas. Henderson, Nevada.
And so I said, hey, you want to stay and eat dinner with us? And he thought I was joking. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, are you eating with us? Are you eating with us? Pull in the parking lot. He's like, well, no, I got to work. I'm like, what do you mean? Like driving? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, so how much would you lose by not driving? I said, what if I buy you dinner and we give you $100 tip, and then you get our ride back to Vegas?
He couldn't get out of the car fast enough.
Let's go, baby.
So top to find out was this. He was actually going to go home before he picked us up. Okay.
That's just funny.
We were not, but he was so close to where we were at. He said, oh, hell, I'll just go ahead and do one more ride. So he was going to go home off duty. He had to call his wife and tell her he was picking up one more.
He never told her.
Oh, she finally called him.
He had texted her because we were leaving. I guess we were leaving Trump.
Yeah.
And he was in the parking lot across the street. And he said, we were so close. So he had texted his wife, I'm coming home for dinner. He saw our ride. So he picked us up and said, hey, I'm going to get one more ride to Henderson. I'll be home a little later. And then he forgot to tell her he was going to dinner with us. And so he's sitting there at dinner, being polite, no phone open, talking to us for 45 minutes. And he finally looks at his phone. He's got all these texts from his wife that's like,
where the hell are you at?
Angry face, or frown face, angry face, crying face. And he's like,
I went to a strip club or something.
He goes, I need to call my wife. But there's the laugh. There's the laugh that Chris loved. So then we had he took our dinner home. So we had some leftover food. And by the way, Chris just actually texted me a video, and I think this is of your damn laugh. Here it is. So we'll play it we'll see what it's.
Dwayne, how does the choke in the chicken sound? Dwayne, how does the choke in the chicken sound?
So he asked, how does choking the chicken sound? I guess you were making the noise of that little bird you got.
How does the choke in the chicken sound?
So Dad was at his all-time best last week.
I had a ball.
And every time David Scott Peters would say something funny from stage, you would laugh, and then Chris would laugh at your laugh, and you guys were disrupting the whole damn event.
Oh, we had a ball. I tell you what, he had some great ideas.
Unbelievable ideas. I think one of the coolest ideas I heard, I talked about it on podcast last week. He had a bunch of stuff. He talked about stealing the 20. You remember that? So if you've got a restaurant and you're looking to increase sales of a certain item, let's say you got 20 T-bone steaks one night, or 20 tomahawk steaks, and you want to sell them, but you might only usually sell 5. That take a $20 bill, the manager has it. The first person that sells the tomahawk gets the 20. The next person sells it, steals the 20. And then it just keeps going.
Well, we did the same thing. It's very similar with our retail store in the book. You used to go up and say, Andy, first sale gets $100.
Yeah, but I never could steal it, though.
I know, there's no stealing.
And this was pretty cool. It's like stealing it.
Yeah, if you sold 2, you got to steal the other 20. That was kind of neat. But the one thing I got out of the whole thing is something I think I preach a lot, and that is, what is your commitment? Okay, he was big on that. What is the commitment? How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Okay, and I took about 2 pages of notes on that section.
Oh, the reason I was late getting out here is I just emailed a client firing him. He sends me a text, I guess yesterday, and refuses to communicate with our team. We have account managers. So let's imagine, Dad, you're a restaurant owner, and you hire a company to help you with marketing, and you have a team of 5 people that will do whatever the hell you need help with.
And you don't call them.
Won't call them, won't email them, sends me these texts. So he sends me this rude text yesterday saying we went over budget for the month by a couple $100. I owe him $300 and something like that. And
hello.
And the funny thing is, like, our stuff for his restaurant works great. And so
you got to use it.
So I see the text this morning. I call my team. I'm like, hey, have you guys talked to this guy at all? Like, no, he refuses to call us back. He refuses to do this. So then I look at the results. Here's the funny part. We launched 3 campaigns on his behalf in the last 30 days. And our campaigns tie in social, email, and text. Our 3 campaigns outperformed his 27 campaigns they did on their own. And I don't know who does his other stuff. But his team did 27. My team did 3. We had 20 times the results on our 3 campaigns over that. And so you would think he would be calling our team and going, Jesus, man, like the shit we do doesn't work. The stuff you do is going fire. Help us do more of this. Instead, I get a rude text, and it comes down to what David Scott Peters said last week. Having the right people. You got to have your core values, and your team has to abide by them and your clients. If you bring on clients you wouldn't be friends with normally, this shit's going to happen.
Yep.
So let's end with a funny story. So funny story. You mentioned the boat dealership days. We talked about Christmas. So we had an event back in the day called, I think it was called Nasty Santa, Dirty Santa, where you would steal a gift.
Yep.
And so we had a company-wide, we had about 40 or so employees did it, and everybody had to buy a $25 gift. And you brought it, and it was in a bag. You couldn't see it. Some stuff you could. No, actually, you could see it.
And you could steal it.
And you could steal it. And so people are stealing all this stuff. Well, I bought a $2,500 TV. This was back when TVs were really expensive. This was probably 2005, 6, 7. And I bought a $2,500 flat screen TV. And I wrapped it myself, which wasn't very good. So you could see what the hell it was. But everybody's assuming, like, okay, well, it's a $25 max. Matt probably bought a TV for his house at Black Friday and put the gift in here. So it's not a TV, but what's in it? And so it gets passed around. Nobody was bit. Nobody was grabbing it. Eventually somebody grabs it. It gets stolen 2 or 3 times. And the lady who gets it turns out to not even be an employee. It's an employee's wife who was intoxicated, who had also pissed off a couple other women at the event because some things she said. And she opens it. Internet. Oh, there we go. That they didn't get it, but that somebody else got it that wasn't working. And the funny thing was, I think like a week later, she left him. She just up and left her husband and went on to her thing. But there you go. Fire with Dad.
Fire with Dad, baby.
2 week hiatus. 2 week. It was 2 week hiatus. We'll be back because I'm not out of town much the next 2 months. So
good.
Lots of Fire with Dads. Now you got to go. Dad's got a commitment. He's going to be getting on the treadmill at the office gym
50 pounds
every day before he leaves here. He's here 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But you're coming tomorrow, right?
Yep.
So he's coming tomorrow because he skipped out on Tuesday. He had some stuff he had to do. 50 pounds, 12 months. He can do it.
Cha-ching, baby.
Cha-ching, baby.